Today, I'll be playing GTA Online without committing a single crime, and my goal is to legally make $1 million. So let's get into it. Okay, it's day one. I have a fresh new account and now the challenge begins. I've only just spawned in and now I've already encountered my first problem. If I'm abiding by all laws, that means that I can't even steal a car like you typically would. So instead, I had to travel on foot, which also meant that I had to wait for crossings. I can already tell this is going to be the longest week of my life. Anyway, my initial plan was to head straight to the casino to try my luck on the daily wheel. So after running the entire way there, I gave it a spin, and to my luck I actually won 20k. After I got off to such a good start, I decided to look at buying a car, but realised that I couldn't buy one without storing it in a garage. So I needed a way to continuously make money, and that's when I realised right outside of the casino was a taxi business. To be honest, throughout the years of me playing GTA, I didn't even know you could do this taxi business thing. So it made me super excited when I realised that this could be actually a good way to make money. This was a massive mistake. Eventually, I picked up the customer, but because I was following traffic laws, it took me way longer than I should have done, meaning that my tip slowly decreased because I was taking too long. And in the end, I made a measly $923. I'm not gonna lie, at this point I was feeling really low. I wasn't really too sure where to go from here, and I thought this challenge could be near enough impossible. But when I looked on the map again, I noticed this bike icon, and I haven't played GTA in years, so I had to do a bit of research, and it turns out it's like a Red Bull inspired stunt bike race thing, but it's all organised, so I'm assuming it's legal. And I thought, well, I've got nothing else going for me, so I'm going to try it. I noticed it was on the other side of the map, so I thought, I'm not walking there, I'm taking a taxi. And as soon as we set off, we met our first player. Do you reckon he's going to brake? Because of that unfortunate accident, this is how fast the taxi went for the rest of the journey. I'm not even fucking joking. Anyway, on the way there, I dropped by a clothes store to get a new outfit, and I caught myself a new taxi as well. As we did get closer to the bike race, I noticed something weird about my driver. This guy doesn't blink. Like, not even once has he blinked. I thought something was up with him, but I just kind of brushed it off.
And here we are.
Why has he dropped me off there? What the fuck? Yep, I had to run all the way up the mountain. Nevertheless, we eventually made it up there, and I had to do the time in 1 minute 35. So let's go. So on my first attempt, I biked it normally, followed the track, but in the end, I missed it by a whole 16 seconds. And I didn't even make one mistake either, so I was really confused. I needed to magically cut off 16 seconds in order to actually reach the time limit, and that's when I remembered bunny hopping. Bunny hopping allowed me to save so much time, but the only issue is that you need to be really precise with it. If you do it at the wrong time, you'll just fly off the edge. This took me over 20 attempts. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, when I started it, it was daylight, and when I finished, it was nighttime. That's how long it took me. On one of the attempts, I missed it by like half a second. But the problem with me is, I'm so stubborn, I won't give up with it until I've done it. And eventually, I did. Literally just in time. In the end though, it was all worth it. I earned 51k. I really didn't think I'd get that much. They also didn't mention this, but every time you finish the race, you earned a grand extra. So because it took me so many times, I got an extra 9k. So at the end of day one, I earned a total of $80,923. Not bad. I began day two with another bike time trial because I found out that you can only do one a day. Meaning that every day for the next week, I was pretty much guaranteed 51k a day. This time, however, the race was even more difficult, because the race was around the observatory and the cemetery, meaning there was more obstacles, and as you can hear, it was pissing me off.
What? No! Ah! Oh, fuck! Come on. Yes!
With another 55k in the bag, I went to take out my pent-up rage on the daily spin, and nah, cough. Is this scripted? 50k? I need to start gambling, thinking about what car I'm going to buy and which garage is it going in. And that's when I settled on the cheapest garage you can buy, which was 25 grand. And for the car, let me just f***ing show you. Oh yeah. And you know what makes this even better? The car was completely free. Why? I don't know. I don't care. It's what it said on the website, so I just took it. Now I was heading up north to try the Junk Energy skydive, where I had to jump out of a helicopter, go through checkpoints, and land safely. I've basically just become a stuntman in this challenge. It was a quick event, and I only got 5k for it. But you've got to remember, I am playing GTA right now, and there has been some times where I thought, why am I doing this challenge? Like, there's so many better ways I could easily make money.
Hello, you're my first customer.
Anyway, before I did call it a day, I carried on the stuntman career as I wanted to see how much you could earn from a legal stunt race. And even when I came second place, I only earned 8,800. So on day 2, I earned a total of $118,800, which now puts us up to $199,723, just shy of 200 grand. On day 3, something quite bad happened. You could argue this actually jeopardised the challenge. When I was on the way to do my daily bike trial, the alarm of a nearby store went off. I was curious because I've never heard this before, and then look who runs out, a good-for-nothing thief. And I despise crime, so I decided to take matters into my own hands, and then he starts shooting at me. In this moment in time, I could either die or use self-defense, so I did, and then eventually, bang! He's down. What have I done? I think it's time to hand myself in. I called 911, and I knew my freedom was up.
Move quickly, people!
Yeah, they drove off. And if I'm honest, it's not a crime if you don't get caught. And I also looked it up, and this game is basically set in California, so I looked at the California laws, and self-defense is allowed. This could have turned out way worse for me, so I need to be more careful. Obviously, I did the time trial, and obviously I got mad.
What?
And later on, I found this. I became an F1 driver. Like, imagine my CV right now. I actually had loads of fun with this one. After about 10 minutes of racing, I came first and earned 16k. So at the end of day 3, I earned $70,350, meaning that so far, we're on $270,073. Whilst I'm editing this, I've just realised I forgot to spin the wheel this day. What a dickhead. Day 4. I'm not gonna lie, because of work, I only had time to do the bike stunt race, and to also spin the wheel this time, where I got XP. So literally all I made was 52k. Brilliant. Day 5. To make things even worse, it was practically the same as day 4. My daily time trial was at the top of Mount Chiliad. My carrying blister struggled to get up the mountain, so I had to run up there. Again, I did the daily time trial, and that was it. Oh, what's that? The spin? Yeah, I won close this time. Day 6. I'm not gonna lie, my morale was once again low. At this point, I had no motivation. Wait, what? Now, this may be super controversial, but I'm gonna count this money. Because 1, I didn't do anything illegal to actually obtain it, and we're just gonna pretend this is what Junk Energy has gave me in royalties. Yeah? No? Is that cheating? I couldn't give a fuck. It's my video. Go fuck yourself. You know the gist. I spun the wheel, got close, did the time trial, and I was actually getting pretty good at it. And at this point in the challenge, we were now sat on over 600k. As good as this might seem, we still need 400k in 2 days. And it felt like the whole world was trying to compel me to commit crime to make money. But when I was at the airport, I had a great idea when I spotted the flight school. If you don't know, the flight school is a set of missions that teach you how to fly in GTA. And when you finish a level, you can either receive a bronze, silver or gold medal. And for the gold reward, you can receive around 25k a mission. With that being said, there's also 10 missions, meaning that there was definitely money to be made. Now, the majority of flight school was easy. I had to do tricks, land a couple of planes, and stay in formation. But these 3 lessons in particular gave me such a hard time. The first was chase parachute. You had to jump out of the plane, catch the parachute, and land on the target. But the difficult part was that when your character landed, they either stood straight up, or took 50 extra fucking steps.
Why does he fucking hobble forward?
Meaning that they would walk straight out of the centre of the target and I wouldn't get the gold reward. But, as I've already said, I'm stubborn and I won't give up.
Oh, thank Christ.
The next was moving landing, in which you had to land a helicopter on the back of a moving truck. Now you're probably thinking, this is super simple, but I don't know if you've played GTA on the PC before, but for me, the controls for flying helicopters are unbelievably awkward.
How the fuck do you fly this thing? What?
I've played console all my life and I just couldn't come to grips with the helicopter controls on keyboard and mouse. And it got to the point I used Steam to plug in my old PS4 controller and I literally did it straight away.
Wow, that was so fucking hard.
And finally, collect flags. You had to basically fly around Los Santos and collect checkpoints. But in order to get the gold medal, you had to do it in such a short amount of time. So you had to use a bit of strategy and collect certain checkpoints in a certain order, otherwise you'd lose your time. But after a couple of attempts, we did it. So how much did we make from flight school overall? This was huge. It's the final day. I did the time trial first try and spun the casino wheel. All I needed was to make 100k in one day. And after my bike time trial, I spent way too much time looking for more legal ways to make money, and I knew that the only way to make that final 100 grand was to fulfill my dream. I've basically just become a stuntman in this challenge. I've completed BMXing, parachuted out of helicopters, became an F1 driver, and now it was time for stunt races. I spent the remainder of my day grinding these stunt races, and even accidentally started the race with my Dinko blister. And guess what? I still fucking won. And after more and more races, we finally hit 1 million. Now, there's one big thing I learned from this challenge, which is that traffic lights always turn red when you approach them, like almost as if the game is trying to stop you. Like seriously, try driving normally and you'll just get what I mean. Listen, I know the game's literally called Grand Theft Auto, but maybe there's more to this world than just aimlessly committing crime.
That's all I have! Just take...
I'm lying, this is way better. Please like and subscribe, this video took me quite some time to make, and get ready for my next video, which is making $1 million in Red Dead Redemption 2.